I'm very happy and honored to have this opportunity to be among the buzzing HIAS community, and I'm looking very much forward to my stay, which will materialize next spring. But today for my talk, what I thought to talk about is to give you some insights about my own thought process when I started preparing for the application and what I was thinking, what might be important in such kind of applications. So to give you a bit of background story, then, well, as many of us who daily work in academia know that life in academia can be quite challenging. And obviously, as a scholar, you kind of want to have this peace and quiet, and we always tend to talk that whenever we have time, when I finish this yet another application for a grant, when I finish this preparing for a course, when I finish this particular article, then I will have time to actually think through and digest my next ideas and start preparing for my next ambitious project and just read and write and savor all this to myself, but the reality is like this seven-headed dragon. So you always need to juggle a variety of different things in your daily life. And I'm a mother of twins, which adds additional burden to my academic life. So when you have one head of the dragon slayer, then the next one appears and you realize that you might not ever have this peace and quiet to actually sit back and think your very high, provocative, inspiring thoughts. So I started looking for an opportunity to take this time for myself and for my research that could take me away from all these different other obligations that I have. And then I came across the website of HIAS, and I found this one quote that they have on the website, which started to speak to me, and that was the quote I have here in the slide, saying that HIAS will provide a space of intellectual freedom and entirely unimpeded by the usual professional duties in which to pursue their own projects. So here, the words that started to inspire me were really related to, on the first hand, a space for intellectual freedom, and on another hand, to pursue your own projects. Because again, as we know as scholars, there aren't too many opportunities actually to apply for a project with just your own bottom-up process, as we have been talking here already today. So usually when we apply for funding, there is already a topic prescribed, there is already quite a detailed description of what is expected from you as a scholar. So there is just a handful of places where you can submit the project you would like to do, your own dream project. And of course, it's also sometimes related to the career stage. So as you can see from the cartoon, this intellectual freedom comes to a person usually who is in this emeritus stage. And then they can say that I will research whatever. But I bet nobody in academia actually wants to research whatever only when they are close to wrapping up their career. So as I noticed, HIAS providing this opportunity way sooner than emeritus stage was very inspiring and got me thinking about a project. So I started envisioning about my project, and first I started to think about what would be the topic for my particular project, what I would be able to carry out during this scholarship period. And I also knew that due to my other obligations, it's very difficult to get away for the maximum months, but I knew that I'm only able to be there for 3 months. So what is this that I'm able to achieve during this particular period? And when I come across the project that I really wanted to do, what is it, I will tell you slightly later. I also started immediately to think about why this topic might matter. Why is it important? The classical response to the so what question. Like, why should anyone care that this project is being executed? So what is this project and the outcome of this project, what it could contribute to the scholarship at large on the one hand, to the academia and theoretical thought, but on the other hand, perhaps it can also have some practical implications, and what kind of implications and opportunities my project could contribute to the HIAS community and fellow residents in this community. Also, when I thought through my own plans, then I had to think back of how this project of mine, how does it resonate with all the other things that I have been doing previously from my career? How does it resonate with my previous research and also previous experiences, for instance, previous experiences of supervising students or teaching or carrying out admin work. So what are the potential qualities and knowledge and skills that I have that could be relevant for the community in HIAS and for the successful carrying out of the project? And also, as this application process does happen to be quite extensive in a way that you need to plan quite a bit ahead, I submitted my application in December 2021, and I'm planning to go in spring 24. So you have to envision a project that could still be timely and relevant several years ahead. So I also knew that I have to take a variety of different steps in order to be successful while I'm already in HIAS. So for instance, coming from the background of social sciences, I had the feeling that I also do need to collect my data, carry out various empirical studies, so as to be able to actually concentrate on analyzing this material and materializing this work while I'll be in HIAS. So my project for the scholarship period is a plan to focus on writing my monography, which will be about data-fied schools and data valence of students. Largely, this is then a project about the currently heavily data-fied and technology-saturated education system and how data-dependent this education system has become. And this is well in line with my previous research about the datafication of childhood. And as I knew that it's really important for the HIAS projects to be interdisciplinary, then this project of mine also brings brings together thought processes and theoretical frameworks from a variety of different disciplines, from media and communication, which is officially my field, but also from education and psychology and critical data studies, surveillance studies, and even law and ethics. So, when preparing for this project idea, I also knew that I have to carry out a variety of empirical studies that will then enable me to continue writing this book project and really focus on bringing these different thoughts together. So I also was thinking of the fact that what I could offer. So what I could offer for the community at large, and started to think about what kind of experiences I have, what kind of skills and knowledge, but also what kind of interest I have, and how these could be then valued by HIAS community, and how I could contribute through these skills and interests and experiences to the buzzing HIAS community. And I thought that it's also important to think through why me? Why anyone would like to choose me as a potential fellow for this position? So how and for what reasons you as an applicant are original, why your thought processes and your ideas are novel and worthwhile of others' interest and time. So I think these kind of things are very important to highlight in all kinds of grant applications, but here in the context of HIAS, this is exactly the same. And then when thinking back, I also thought about what could this stay actually offer to me as a scholar who is in the middle of my career, and what kind of opportunities this potential 3 months could provide me, and exactly the things that have been emphasized here today were the things that came to my mind as well. So I have always been a huge fan of interdisciplinary research. I have had an opportunity to work with scholars from different fields, and I know that it's very exciting, but at the same time also quite thought-provoking, and it can be quite problematic as well to find a common language. But when you do find this common language, then the rewards are really significant. So I started looking forward to this interdisciplinary community and collaborating with those people there, with a hope that this could lead to really new projects and new collaborations, be it in the form of some new grant applications or some publications that we might co-author together. So these were definitely things that got me inspired once again. And of course, the opportunity to really talk about your research, not just within the academic community as such, not just within your academic fellows, but also to have a wider public outreach. I think this is also something that is gaining increasingly importance here in Estonia, but also whenever we apply for grants, this importance of science communication and practical implications of your work, and to be able to communicate those practical implications is really important, and to have a chance to do it outside of your local community is definitely also rewarding, not to mention all these opportunities that HIAS provides to organize various events, and an opportunity to invite like-minded people to discuss on a topic that you mutually are engaged in and find inspiring, again, could lead to new opportunities. So all these thought processes then led me to apply and led me to the idea that I need to grab the opportunity because I see so much value this potential fellowship could offer me as a scholar. And hopefully also I have something to offer in return for the community there in HIAS and in Hamburg. So based on my own experience, although I haven't yet had the chance to stay at HIAS, I think this atmosphere and various opportunities this kind of fellowship offers are really rewarding, and considering that in Estonia as well we already have this tradition slowly but steadily lurking into our academic careers, that you can take a sabbatical for a semester, or if you're really lucky, then for a year, then to spend your sabbatical in such kind of environment where your free thought process is supported, encouraged, and you feel inspired from the interdisciplinary community is something we should all try to grab such an opportunity when it's presented to us. So I really hope that there will be many applicants from Estonia and from the region who try to grab this opportunity that HIAS so eloquently and nicely provides. So with that, I stop. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we can have some questions. Again, I have a few. Maybe one very practical about the point you ended with, namely, you are a full-time professor at the University of Tartu, and I guess you applied for 10 months, or?
I applied for 3 months.
3 months? Okay, that's already answers my question in a way.
The Commission wanted to give you 6 months.
Okay.
Okay.
But anyhow, are you taking a sabbatical? Are you? How you arrange your life in Tartu in order to get to HIAS?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I'm still waiting to have this talk with the head of the institute, how it will materialize. But I have planned so that I can do all my teaching before I leave, and hopefully get rid of some of the administrative obligations that I otherwise have. And as a parent, I also leave my children here in Estonia and hope that they are able to join me slightly later when the school year ends.
Okay, yeah. So it's a complicated practical arrangement in a way.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's never easy when you have many different roles that you need to fill, and but I think this kind of opportunity is like you need to grab this when it's provided.
And then maybe another question. It was emphasized that you are expected to relate to the academic landscape of Hamburg while you are applying, or at least when you are in Hamburg. What's in your case? I mean, did you explore the existing opportunity? Do you have already some, contacts in Hamburg, or was it important at all in your project to be somehow related to Hamburg academic landscape?
Well, I have some previous experiences with working some colleagues from Hamburg, from Hans Pedro Institute. We have worked together on a variety of projects, but considering this specific angle, I didn't have anyone concrete in mind. I knew that there is actually one research group which is working on a quite similar topic and would be interested in collaborating perhaps, but I didn't know anyone personally. So I'm just hopeful that we can continue inspiring each other while I'm there.
So you don't know yet who will be your host, so to say?
Yeah, that's still to be determined, yeah.
Okay, good. Interesting. And actually, there's one question from our online audience, but probably it's more to Sonia and Dorothea. So is it possible to find an English-speaking school for older children and combine research stay with a school year in Germany?
It depends on how old the children are. So we have a few English-speaking elementary schools in Hamburg, so that go from first grade to fourth grade until the kids turn 10. When it comes to schools from fifth grade upwards, it is more difficult. We have an international school that is a private school that is quite pricey, and why we can fund daycare and a private school to a certain degree, it will still be a considerable cost. So that is something that we are struggling with. Those are kind of like the infrastructure problems that are kind of beyond our control. We wish we could fund our own school, but we're not there yet. So I would say, while it is no problem, obviously, with younger kids and with elementary school children, it is a bit more tricky with kids who are 11 years and older.
But if I may add another practical question, do you plan to have some kind of publication opportunity, some kind of book series, sponsored by HIAS or something that can, help to materialize some of the discussions or research being done in HIAS?
So we collect all of the publications that our fellows do in all their specific journals. We are currently planning a yearly publication that is kind of has more of an essayistic approach, where fellows write their own contributions. It can be to their topic, it can be to a specific idea that they had in Hamburg that didn't maybe then canalize into a project, but that was nonetheless very informative for them. But we do not have such a series planned yet. But good idea.
Yeah, because some of the institutes have.
Yes,
that's why
they do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so much. Thank you. And I won't make any long conclusion, especially as some coffee and snacks are waiting for us behind my back. But I'm very grateful for your visit. I think we learned a great deal, and I'm very confident there will be plenty of Estonian application next round, and also from other Baltic countries. And also, I think this was important for giving yet another impetus to our project of Estonian Institute for Advanced Studies. This Akadeemia is developing this plan over the last 10 years or more. And I think this idea to work more closely with the city of Tallinn is an excellent idea and worth exploring in the future. So,
be part of a worldwide community,
Absolutely. And indeed, I think Tallinn and Hamburg, there's a long joint history since Hanseatic times, and I think this would be an excellent occasion for further collaboration, also in academic level. Therefore, I think it was very useful, this Info Day, and I think I look very much myself forward to applying in next year or later, so my personal profit of this Info Day. Anyhow, thank you so much for coming, and as said, there should be, or will be in a few minutes, coffee and snacks served